And high time we had a little sharpener as we head into confession territory. What are you lining up for us today, Suze?
Very nice New England Session IPA. It's a collaboration between Time and Tide and Clapton Craft.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Nelson Sauvin and Citra hops, 3.8%, so very, very drinkable and sessionable, and it's called The Faraway Town.
Okay, that's very nice. We'll have a half, but maybe later.
Yeah.
Because even at 3.8%, we don't want to stretch things, do we?
Understood.
Today's confession comes from Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. Simon and the team, this confession has been triggered by receiving a prompt from Facebook suggesting people I might want to be friends with.
Oh.
A girl I went to high school with, let's call her Sharon, appeared in my Facebook suggestions as we had a mutual friend. We went to school together in the 1980s. We lived in a small touristy market town, somewhere everyone knew everyone else, and generations of families had grown up there on the same housing estate. However, Sharon and I were not friends.
Oh.
Sharon and I were, in fact, mortal enemies. Since her mum had snubbed my mum in the queue at Asda in 1976.
Wow.
And her little brother had nicked my little brother's bike in 1974. From this, you get the picture of how the town functioned and how petty misdemeanors became long-standing family feuds.
Quite right.
However, Sharon and I had our own ongoing reason for mutual resentment and mistrust. We were both vying for the attention of the same sex god. Let's call him Martin.
Martin.
He was 16, ear-pierced, snow-washed denim jeans, and he could get his older brother to buy cider from the off-licence.
Oh, nice. That's it,
A
yeah.
total teenager
Yes.
girl's
Yeah.
dream. He was playing Sharon and I off each other for a while that year, but at the end of term school disco, he had a snog with her, and I was humiliated in defeat. So that summer I turned 15, and my mum insisted that I got a job for the summer holidays. I had visions of a long summer holiday, mooching with my mates, but had an eye on some pixie boots and a new romantic-style frilly blouse in my mum's Freeman's catalogue. So agreed that a summer
Freeman's.
job, Freeman's catalogue, everybody needed a frilly
brows. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think I ever had one anyway. So a summer job was a good idea. My dad told me that his mate's wife, called Carol, was opening up a burger van over the summer, and he'd put a word in for me. He came home from work and said that Carol wanted to meet me at said burger van to talk me through the job. I turned up to find that Carol had also agreed to employ my arch enemy, Sharon.
Oh, no.
And we glared at each other, but kept our behaviour civil as we both wanted summer jobs, and were relieved to find that we were working opposite shifts and would have very little contact with each other. I started the job the following week, and after a couple of shifts, Carol, the boss, could see I had what it took to flip burgers, keep the place clean, and not give any customers food poisoning, and she started leaving me on my own for a couple of hours every day. It was a small town, and it was a well-known secret that Carol was playing away with a local man and was sneaking off to meet him.
It's all going off in this, isn't it?
I was told to say she was at the cash and carry if I was asked.
Oh.
I was 15. I wanted popularity. I could definitely not be trusted to be left in charge of a fast food outlet. And soon enough, my group of friends were there to get their free burgers and fries. They would literally wait around the corner for Carol to leave for the cash and carry and be drooling in anticipation of the greasy treats that awaited them, much as she was.
Oh, come on.
I became very popular that summer, and my small group of friends expanded rapidly as word of free burgers spread. A couple of weeks later, the boss, Carol, called a staff meeting, and Sharon and I were confronted with the fact that the amount of burgers being fried did not correlate with the takings in the till. She was understandably peeved about this and demanded answers. I squirmed and sweated, and I knew that the game was up and was just about to own up when Sharon, who was also sweating and squirming, said, "Yeah, it was me." Turns out she'd been providing sex god Martin and his mates with free burgers all summer too.
Wow.
I stayed silent. I didn't own up to my own quarter-pound of freebies and watched while Sharon was sacked on the spot. She'd nicked my potential boyfriend, and my underdeveloped teenage conscience felt it was payback that she richly deserved. It was soon the end of the school holidays, and the tourist season ended, and I started back to school. Martin and Sharon had finished with each other, and he started showing some interest in me again.
Oh.
But I regret to say he chunked up a bit, and with all the and had a nasty bout of teenage acne going on, no doubt related to the copious amounts of burgers that Sharon had wooed him with over the summer. Snow-washed denim was also no longer in vogue, and Levi 501s had arrived,
fickle.
and I was no longer interested in him. Never underestimate the fickleness of teenage girls. If it helps, I can confirm that I am now allergic to tomato ketchup. It gives me a nasty rash, and I feel this is possibly some kind of retrospective karma. I think that's the way karma works.
Yeah.
Am I forgiven? Yours in hopefulness. That's Ellie. A splendid tale of family feuds.
Yeah.
And everyone after the same 16-year-old boy. He doesn't sound worth the trouble. Anyway, Suze, what do you say?
Yeah, no, he doesn't sound worth the trouble, and Ellie, I think you're better off without him. But I can imagine being there, and I wholly understand what that is all like. But I have to say, like, if anyone was giving free pints away at the pub, I would be down on them.
Yes.
Like, yeah,
Off you go.
Just not. You can't do it. You got it. You're running a business, regardless of how old you were. She may have been young, but still, she should have made the people pay for the burgers. And also, you don't want popularity just by people giving you free stuff, because then you don't know if they like you because you give them free stuff, or they like you for you.
Yeah.
And they should like you for you, Ellie. So I'm not going to forgive.
Okay, it's a seedy little place, wasn't it? This
It was, wasn't it? It's
this
all going on
market
in this town. They're all at it. So I'm going to forgive, and mainly because, Carol, I'm sorry, but if your business is losing money, maybe don't be having so much time,
cash and carry.
Cash and carry. And also, I feel rather sorry for Martin here. Not his fault that he was eating all the burgers and then suddenly developed acne and chunking up a bit, despite all the extra relish that was clearly going on there. So, yes, I'm going to forgive.
Okay, very good, very, very good. Okay, the issue is, does Ellie get your forgiveness? On the text, please, 61054. First word is time. Just before the news, a confession from Ellie from the 70s. Ellie versus Sharon. Martin snogged Sharon, though, so that was that sorted. They both gave away free burgers from Carol's burger van, but while Carol was at the cash and carry. Sharon got the sack, and Ellie got an allergy to tomato ketchup. That's sort of in summary. And the people's verdict. Here we go.
So Carl in Sittingbourne says, forgiven, this is one of the best confessions I've heard in a long time. I'm forgiving for pure hilariousness. And what's a few 1980s 50p burgers? Lol. Mick says, not forgiven. I run a sweet shop. The amount of student workers who've taken chocolate bars is ridiculous. But Ellie says, forgiven. Given the opportunity, I would have done exactly the same thing and kept quiet about it and let someone else take the blame. Maybe the owner shouldn't have been spending so much time at the cash and carry.
I think that's probably right. If she hadn't been at the cash and carry, enjoying the cashing and the carrying.
And the carrying.
Then no one would have been giving anything away. I don't think. Anyway, if you have a confession, we would like to hear about it, please. If we use it, you get a smart speaker. Please send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. Events, dear boy, events. But it is time for a hydration break just before we get to the confession. Suze, what have you lined up from the trolley today?
I've got a very nice beer for you. It's a New England steam beer, which is basically kind of an IPA, really. But it's called Glade Runner, which I quite like the name of. 5.5%. So a little bit pokey, but very, very delicious.
Maybe for later, is what I'm thinking. Thank you very much. So today's confession, I think it's a 12.
Oh, really? Those are good. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
12 and up.
12 and up.
I think so. A double A. Let's give it a double A certificate
bit of
from back in
sauce.
the day. Today's confession comes from Wifey. That's how she wants to be known.
Okay.
Dear Father Simon, the merciful meritocrats and the pardoning proletariat, please call me Wifey for those who know and those with very good memories. I hope that Matt, who preemptively condemned my husband Sebastian a decade ago based solely on his name, will remain his present generous self and welcome Susie and Holly's fair and balanced verdict. That is exactly what you would do.
Yes, it is.
He's called
100%.
Sebastian? No way.
No way.
You may be wondering how much calamity can ensue from something as bland as a computer keyboard. Well, firstly, I should explain that my husband and I remain quite a playful couple. When baking profiteroles, one may accidentally be filled with chili puree.
Oh, right.
Hilarious. Did you think it was going to be
I
something
thought it was
else?
going to be something else
Okay.
then. The 12A was kicking in.
No, that's coming. Watering the garden will quickly descend into a full water fight, leaving house and garden drenched. So you see, my husband and I are not afraid to escalate things, and quickly. Since 2020, we both work from home full-time. I in a modest garden office, while my husband upgraded his playroom into a full computer command center with 5 monitors, one a 49-inch widescreen monstrosity.
Goodness.
I think that's called a jumbotron.
It is, isn't it?
Wow.
A 5.1 sound system, a high-def webcam, professional-grade microphone, and 2 keyboards. One keyboard is for play, with small screens in the keys that can be customized to whatever he's doing, while his work keyboard has keys perfectly balanced and tensioned for long hours of writing reports. I mean, at this point, wifey, I did have to say, how balanced and tensioned does a keyboard have to be?
Yeah.
It's just a keyboard.
Yeah.
Get on with it, man. Anyway, I digress. One evening, I was taking my husband his favorite snack of peanut butter on Marmite toast, which I have to say is 10 out of 10.
No.
This particular day came in the middle of a very busy few months that saw him often work late into the evenings. I was missing my dear heart and wanted to provide some levity to brighten his day. He'd stepped out briefly, clearly. However, sitting in front of me, minding its own business, but invitingly nonetheless, was his command center. Before I really thought about what I was doing, I had swapped the little USB dongles of his 2 keyboards. Ha ha! What he types here will come out there.
Oh.
And what he types there will come out here.
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps it's not the jolliest of japes, but the idea amused me, and I hoped that it would amuse my good husband, him indoors. To be clear, this was the work computer of my husband, my very professional husband, my highly respected senior energy consultant husband.
Oh, right.
And internationally respected energy advisor husband.
Wow.
Father Simon, if it makes any difference at all, I obviously didn't know that my husband had been spending time on his downtime watching people play Cluedo online.
Oh, no.
On his jumbotron.
Wow.
I think that was the name of the movie.
Wow.
My dearest beloved didn't discover my jape how I intended, but fortunately the team's message that he sent wasn't to the consortium group, so it didn't go global faster than a video of a panda sneezing. However, a colleague who was also working late did receive an apparently highly competitive group Cluedo game and some names of popular online Cluedo players with interesting and unusual playing styles.
Well.
No. Oh, my goodness.
How far can this be stretched? So, Father Simon, I must beg forgiveness from my husband for the enormous embarrassment my prank caused and any damage to his professional reputation, even though we have plenty of board games at home that he could be playing, and better than Cluedo. Not that he's going to get his hands on any of my pieces anytime soon.
Yeah.
I am most sincerely sorry for upsetting his colleague, who I'm certain had absolutely no interest in what Miss Scarlett and the vicar got up to in the ballroom with the lead piping. Please be lenient. Yours sincerely, Wifey. Okay, well, it's turning a little bit into Janet and John here. But anyway, let's see where we go. Wifey sending in a very good page of A4. What do you say, Suze?
Yeah, wifey, very, very, very good. I'm annoyed with the husband, not just because he was called Sebastian, but just what is he doing there? Just disgraceful behaviour. But that colleague that got that message, I hope they were. Well, I don't know. I hope they took it funny, but who knows? Who knows? Indeed, I'm gonna forgive wifey, but not the husband, because disgraceful behaviour.
I would say peanut butter on Marmite toast is the greatest thing it's possible to be brought.
I don't
as a
like
snack.
Marmite.
Well, I'm afraid that's your fault.
Not really what I took from that confession.
No,
anyway,
is it not? Is it not? Okay, Brother Matthew.
Well, I'm going to forgive because there's a few things. I think we've ruined Cluedo now. We have absolutely ruined. We can never ever say lead piping again with a straight face. But also, why wasn't he looking at what was? Well, he was looking. That was part of the problem. But why wasn't he looking at what was coming up on the screen when he was typing? Then he'd have known. Oh wait, hang on. These keyboards have been messed around by my very mischievous wifey. So he should have worked it out. Maybe a bit thick, and also and doing all the other stuff as well. Yeah, I'm going to forgive because, I should have seen it coming.
Should he?
Yeah,
Well, he probably
wish I hadn't
did.
used that phrase. But anyway, yes, there you go.
Oh.
So it's the people's verdict, please, for wifey 61054. Just before the news, we had a racy confession from Wifey about a garden office, a computer command centre, swapped USBs, and people playing Cluedo online. See previous confessions for details. What's the verdict, Matt?
Forgiven, says Michael in Chessington. Hilarious confession. He should have checked where he was typing. This is completely the husband's fault. But Baz says, not forgiven. I've never liked pranks, and I would be so upset if someone swapped around my keyboards and embarrassed me in front of everyone. Mandy P says, defo forgiving Wifey. Silly daft husband, upgrading all his gear with no idea. Sebastian, you snooze, you lose. Jog on.
Okay, well, I think that's clear. Thank you for the verdict. Send your confessions to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. We need a hydration break before we get any further and closer to the confession. I'm hoping Susan's got something rather refreshing lined up. What do we have?
I've got a very tropical pale ale for you today. It's called Hum from Beak Brewery, 4.8%, Montuca, Idaho 7, and Cashmere hops.
Cashmere. Are they
Ooh, I like
a
them.
thing?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of those before.
yeah.
Anyway, that sounds very nice. In a frosted glass, please.
Yeah.
A little bit later on, once we're done here. Today's confession, another 12 certificate, I think.
Oh, good.
I think it's the steamy weather, I think,
Oh,
for
I
some
say.
people. And it comes from Johnny in the Rockies. Father Simon and the Confessional Collective. My name for the purpose of this story shall be Johnny because that is my name. I emigrated to Canada 20 years ago and still live there very close to the Rocky Mountains. I recently discovered your 5-star Confessions podcast.
Oh, it is 5 stars.
Yeah.
Apparently the #1 podcast in the world
Yep.
because of the indomitable Matt.
Yes.
And his
Wow,
forgiving ways.
This is great.
I'm
More
not-
praise for me.
This is really
I'm
kind
loving
of
it.
unusual.
No.
Definitely forgiven,
Johnny's
whatever it
clearly-
is.
Maybe he was driven out of the country because he'd lost
Yeah.
all his sense. Back in the days of the new millennium, early 2000, I had been an avid listener of Mr. Mayo and his confessions since it had started in 1990. I love the confession slot so much, I even bought the books and watched the TV show.
Good.
So we're hardcore
Wow.
here.
Yeah.
Some of them had become so ingrained into my memory that I still recall them today. Two of my favourites being The Goat and The Mine Shaft.
It's always the goat.
It's,
Yep, which
everybody's
you can't do
favourite.
anymore. And
Nope.
The Frozen Shrimp in the Hollow Curtain Rank.
Oh, yeah.
It was a different time. So we go back to 2000, and my best friend, we can call him George, and his wife of 2 years, Lilo Lil, for those who remember the Boswells and Bread.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, I booked a 3-week holiday to Thailand with another couple. About a week before the departure, George discovered that Lilo Lil and her boss had been playing Cluedo together for a few months.
Oh, here we go again.
There's a lot of it around this week. They decided, though, that rather than lose the holiday, they would still go but stay in different rooms. But when George arrived at the airport, he was dismayed to find that Lilo Lil had brought her Cluedo buddy along with her. He was not happy, and nor was I. I spent a few days stewing, thinking what a nasty person she was, and thinking how I could get some revenge for George. My memory went back to the confession that Simon had highlighted sometime before on his show. Being the frozen shrimp in the hollow curtain rack, rather than the goat in the mine shaft, because that could be a very different ending.
Weird.
Yeah, we wouldn't be airing that one.
I called George in Thailand. It was okay because Lilo Lil was paying his bill, to ask if he knew where her Cluedo playing chum lived. He didn't know the address, but he had been there once, so he knew how to get there. So first I wrote it all down. And I went to the fishmonger. I bought £5 of the cheapest fish they had. I then went to the fishing shop and bought 3 pints of maggots.
Oh.
Off I drove with the windows open to find the cottage as described by George. Sure enough, there it was, the cottage of the Cluedo chap. I knocked on the door. There was no one in, obviously. So I carefully pushed the £5 of fish through the letterbox, followed by the 3 pints of maggots. Do you remember this one, Simon? He adds. No, don't bring me into it. Don't bring me into this. Anyway, away I drove in the full and certain knowledge that when they came home in 2 or 3 weeks' time, this adulterous pair, the house would be full of flies and stinking of rancid flesh.
Oh, my goodness.
But here's the thing, I don't really ask forgiveness from cheating Lilo Lil or her adulterous new friend. After all, they did ruin George's life and break his heart.
Yes.
But I may have to ask forgiveness from the homeowners because I was never sure that it was absolutely the right house.
Oh, right.
Because I couldn't quite recall if he said left or right at the crossroads.
Oh, my goodness.
Am I forgiven? Because after all, I wouldn't have done it if Simon hadn't said it was a jolly wheeze. Yeah, but that was like prawns in the curtain rail, which is not quite the same. I hope this isn't in the unsuitable pile. I do have plenty more. Most, if not all, included George. In hindsight, I do believe we might have taken things a bit too far. Can I have a mug, please?
Outrageous.
So this is entirely transactional. That's what it is. We're not sending a mug to the Rockies. I don't think so. It gets broken going to Croydon. But anyway, Johnny and the Rockies want some forgiveness. What do you say, Sister Susan?
Well, I don't think he's getting it from me. Poor George in that whole story. He shouldn't have gone on holiday. He should have just to cut his losses and gone home. But Johnny, you didn't even know if it was the right house. I don't like the smell of fish at the best of times. Never mind when it's been there rotting for days. No, thank you. Oh, not forgiven.
Well, Lilo Lil and her boss turning up on holiday doesn't sound like a very
It
good
sounds
thing.
bad form, doesn't it?
I
To
think so.
bring your Cluedo playing buddy with you when with
your former Cluedo.
Yeah, exactly. When
buddy.
you're with your husband. But I'm going to forgive because it does feel like Johnny's sorry. I'm detecting a little bit of remorse. Who knew that you bought maggots in pints? I didn't know that at all. Pints of maggots, no thanks. Maybe he did get the right house. We don't know, do we? Could have been the right house.
Could have been.
And
would that
in
have
which
been
case,
okay?
you would have been fine.
Okay.
Because your man was over there in Thailand doing whatever he's doing, and then came back. He got his comeuppance then, didn't he? So let's think about that. So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
So karma if it was the right house.
Karma if it was up, but if it wasn't the wrong house, well, we've all learned a lesson about maggots. Solomon Pints, who knew?
Okay, I think most fishing people did. Forgiveness, please, for Johnny in the Rockies. Does he get your forgiveness? 61054. Just before the news, a confession from Johnny in the Rockies about George, his wife Lilo Lil, and her Cluedo-playing boss, and fish, and maggots, and revenge. The verdict is in. Here we go.
Alice in Rochester says not forgiven. He wasn't even sure if it was the right house. No one wants to come home to fish and maggots.
True.
But Bob in West Byfleet says forgiven. Revenge is a dish best served cold, fishy, and with maggots. They deserved it. And finally, Anonymous says, hi team, I certainly forgive him because I've done the same myself some years ago, although I did get the right house.
Well. There's more to come, I think, then. Confessions at greatesthitsradio.co.uk. I think 5:47. This is Greatest Hits Radio. Welcome to all new listeners. Apparently we have new listeners joining us all the time because they don't like what they're hearing elsewhere.
Events elsewhere.
Events, turbulence, that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, there goes the drinks trolley. Quick, grab something as it goes past. What have you taken for us today, Suze?
I have grabbed for you an elderflower spritz.
Okay, nice.
Which is called Brit Pop, and it's made by Alex James from Blur. 6%. It's very refreshing and light, kind of like a sparkling wine, but very drinkable.
I thought you said it was an elderflower cordial.
Elderflower spritz.
Spritz, okay, so that's why there's 6% in there. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Don't just think
Just
it's a
be
cordial.
No.
It's definitely from Alex James. All right, thank you very much indeed. So today's confession comes from Tony. I think PG, possibly.
Okay.
For scenes of anguish. Anyway,
Thank you,
Tony
Dad.
says, Father Simon and the purveyors of penance. I would like to ask for forgiveness, although in the case of Sisters Holly and Susie, I know I've got no chance. So I'm pinning my hopes on Brother Matt.
Good.
Oh dear. It's never good.
Well, yeah, but it's inevitable that you will say. My confession is inspired by last week's rugby confession where those two young boys injured their sister whilst practicing rugby.
Yes. That was very good.
And the doll's house, indeed, which got smashed up in the process. My confession goes back about 25 years when our son Alex was approaching high school age and was showing an interest in rugby. So obviously I felt it was my duty to give him some introductory training in the field near our house. This was a correct and fatherly thing to do.
Okay.
All was going well until the day I decided to demonstrate the line out jumping for the ball, then setting yourself ready to pass to the scrum half. Alex was to throw the ball in, and I would catch it, and we duly roped in my wife, Sian, to be the opposition. The demonstration went well for a while, until my wife decided that while I was jumping for the ball, she would illegally, I might add, elbow me in the ribs.
Oh, what?
Causing me to drop the ball, then pick it up and run off with it.
That's not on.
At that point, I felt an impromptu tackling lesson would be appropriate. Well, it was a perfect tackle, but when she went down, there was just a little scream.
Okay.
Just a small one. In my defense, I helped her up and I walked her back to the house and assumed that a cup of tea, putting her feet up, all would be well. Following morning, she was still moaning and asked me to take her to hospital. So off we went, although she can be a bit of a hypochondriac, Father Simon. So I thought this was just a waste of Sunday morning, really. So anticipating a long wait in A&E, I dropped her off and then took our son to his nan's so he wouldn't have to hang around. On the way, we stopped for a McHappy breakfast meal.
Oh.
I might have had a cup of tea before dragging myself back to the hospital. When I got there, I was directed to a room where my wife was lying on a bed surrounded by nurses with her foot in plaster.
Oh, dear.
Well, Father Simon, my blood ran cold, at which point a Hattie Jakes type nurse, ask your parents, said, "Is that him?" Turns out my wife had broken 4 metatarsals in her foot.
Ouch.
And that is why the cup of tea and putting her feet up didn't actually make any difference at all. So she wasn't being a hypochondriac. However, I don't seek forgiveness from my wife. Heaven knows I've paid for this over the years, but I do ask forgiveness from the Welsh Rugby Union. My son, which have never been asked for forgiveness before, I don't think. My son grew up to be about 6'3" and might have had a successful career, but following that fateful day, he lost all interest in playing rugby. I can't think why. Perhaps a mug might provide the final piece of atonement to my wife. Yours more in hope than in anticipation. Well, I mean, I think I'm not quite sure a mug is going to work here, really. Though, interesting way of asking the Welsh Rugby Union for forgiveness. They're not on the panel.
No,
so I'm
not.
afraid they don't count. Susie and Matt count. Susie, what do you say?
Well, yeah, I'm on the panel. And, you know, Wales have been doing a bit rubbish in the rugby. So, you know, maybe he would have been the person that would have changed it all. And he didn't, because she scared him from actually playing rugby. I don't know what is it with these people who are just willy-nilly just showing people how to play rugby. Go to a proper thing to do it. Go to a club. Teach them there. I don't think you took it very seriously, Tony. You called your wife a hypochondriac. You went for a McDonald's before you went to see her, and I just don't forgive you. Not very nice behaviour to your wife.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it's not a good idea to rugby tackle your wife.
No,
Under any
nothing good.
right.
circumstances, particularly if you're the trained rugby player, Tony, even if she has elbowed you in the ribs. But Brother Matthew...
Well, let's not forget she did elbow him in the ribs, didn't she? If you've got to dole it out, Sean, then you've got to be able to deal with being tackled as well. And there went the metatarsals. That wasn't his fault, surely. Could have been, we don't know. And also when he dropped her off, he went through the drive-through, didn't he? He didn't just stop in whichever fast food place it was. So that was good. And and he told us to put her feet up, and that was exactly what needs to happen with the metatarsals. So in a way, he was doing everything right, apart from the tackle. If we just rule that bit out, everything else Tony did was right. Balance of thingies, I'm going to say definitely forgiven.
In general, if your wife is in hospital and waiting for you to come, don't go for a McDonald's.
But he went through the drive-through, so it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
No, that's absolutely fine. I'm just checking now with everyone else. Oh, no, it's all fine. Everyone through the glasses.
I don't know where the drive-through came. He just went for McDonald's. Anyway, People's Verdict, please. 61054, first word is Sam. Edo, the People's Verdict is in. Here we go.
Not forgiven, says Joanna in Chester. I can't believe he didn't ask for forgiveness from his wife. He went for a McDonald's whilst she was in pain in hospital.
Yes.
What a rubbish husband. Juliet in Oxford, though, says definitely forgive. We live in an age of equality, so she should take it on the chin or foot. She started it. And Philippa says Tony is forgiven. He was lucky not to break something himself by landing funny from being elbowed in the ribs. He went to McDonald's so his son wouldn't feel upset. The phrase, do unto others as you would have done to yourself, came into full effect here.
All right, very good. Thank you very much indeed for the verdicts, and thank you for your confessions. Send them to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk.